Hello, my name is Gediminas. I'm part-time Amazon FBA seller. In today's video, I will talk to you about IP complaints, intellectual property complaints. I will help you to understand what is IP complaint and what you need to do if you receive an IP complaint. And I also share some ways you can avoid or prevent from receiving IP complaints in the first place. Right, let's just jump into this video just now. Right, so what is IP complaint? Amazon does not allow listings that violate the intellectual property rights of brands or other right owners. So basically what it means, some brands, they just don't want Amazon sellers, third-party sellers to be reselling their products on Amazon. So they will do everything in their power to prevent this by actively looking for third-party sellers and reporting them and raising IP complaints to Amazon. Simple as that. So what happens like if you receive an IP complaint? How do you know that you received an IP complaint? You will be notified by Amazon via email. And what it does, it basically tells you that Amazon removed your listing because you received intellectual property report from brand owner. And at the end of the email, you will be able to see the text or note that the person who reported you left. And yeah, and it will leave you a link to Seller Central where you can supply evidence if you're allowed to sell the product. If in any case this was maybe an error, you can supply your documents and IP complaint is gonna be removed once that investigation is over. However, if you're online or retail arbitrage seller, in most cases you won't have any evidence to support that you are entitled in selling the product. So what you need to do in that case is really important for you to act as soon as possible. Because, for example, I will give you some examples. When I first started selling on Amazon, I received my first IP complaint and my account health rating went from being good to average, I think in amber, from one single IP complaint because I was so new. I heard in some groups of Amazon selling groups, sellers sharing that their accounts have been suspended because they received IP complaint and they haven't done anything about it. So it's really important for you to actually react to this as soon as you can. So the way you do it, the best thing is to contact the person that raised IP complaint against you. You will have the information from Amazon email, giving you the details of the person or brand that reported you. So what you do, you just send them an email basically apologizing that what I say was, sorry, I didn't know I can sell your products. Apologies. Could you please perhaps remove this IP complaint or withdraw your IP complaint? Because I hear in some cases, some sellers had some luck where IP complaint was withdrawn by brand and it was just removed from their account health. However, in both times I had IP complaints, it didn't happen, and it's very rarely it does. However, it's still always great, and a good thing to do is to contact the brand directly. So once you contacted the brand, the first thing to do if you're a third-party seller like I am, is just to remove your listing and recall all of your stock. Once you've done that, you just need to go to your account, go to performance, account health, and you will be able to see this receive intellectual property complaint. And if you click on that, it will take you to that complaint. So once you're here, you just need to appeal and basically contact Amazon this way and just make them aware that you removed your listing, recalled all of your stock, and you contacted the brand and apologized to the brand as well, and leave it there. And you should, at the end of that, receive another final email from Amazon. So you need to look out for it. You should receive, thank you for informing us that you have removed your offer, ASIN, blah, blah, blah. We appreciate your efforts to comply with our selling policies, right? And it should tell you that the policy violation record for this listing will remain on your account health page for up to 180 days after listing removed, right? So once you receive this email, that is it. That is nothing else you can do. Your IP complaint will stay on your record for 180 days. And especially if you're a new seller, as I mentioned before, you need to be extra careful not to receive any more IP complaints. Because as you can see from my Seller Central account, I currently have one IP complaint on my account, and my account health rating is still good, right? I recently received another one. I think it was an error. So I had 2 IP complaints and my account still wasn't green good. But that other IP complaint was removed because it was raised in error. Anyways, it just goes to show basically the way it works. As more selling experience you have, as more IP complaints you can get, that's my understanding. However, there is a lot of different cases, you know, some people getting their accounts getting suspended after receiving single IP complaints. Some of the accounts have several, up to 7 IP complaints I heard, and their account is not suspended. But anyways, it's really, you have to take it seriously. Otherwise, once your accounts get suspended, it's extremely hard to get unlocked, and then you're stopped from selling, you know, so you need to be very careful about this. I will share a couple of examples of the products where I received IP complaints, and let's just jump. I will share my screen just now with you, right? Let's have a look. So the first product was this SumUp card reader, right? So first IP complaint I received this like literally first or second month of selling on Amazon. I had BuyBotPro, which is again another great tool to use for IP complaints. So what happens when you use BuyBotPro and you're searching for deals in stores or online, it will have this IP radar here, right? Which in this case pops up red, right? So whenever you see the IP radar is in red and either amber, if you're a new seller, just stay away from those listings. It's just not worth it, because it just kind of indicates that you're not allowed to sell this product, because the BuyBotPro gathers data of any IP complaints that have been raised regarding this brand in past. So they have a database of all of this information, and it kind of indicates that. So it's really handy tool to have. That's the core way you can prevent from receiving IP complaints, by using BuyBotPro and keeping an eye on this IP radar. Another thing, right, I wasn't aware when I started selling, is you always need to check the listings, and if the brand is on the listing, SumUp, like in this case SumUp UK, and also SumUp UK, like there's 2, you see brand is on the listing, stay away from that listing as well. And especially when you don't see any other FBA sellers selling, right? If it's 1 or 2 and there is a brand, stay away. It's just not worth, it's too risky, right? Another thing, a way you can prevent, is checking how long the listing's been active for. You know, if the listing is only been active for a couple of months, that's where it leads to my next example when I received an IP complaint, is this product here, right? I used BuyBotPro, and at the time it didn't have, it didn't light up in red. It was green. I was able to add my product, I was able to ship my product, and soon enough to find out I received an IP complaint. Right, so one mistake I made, once again, there's only one FB seller, and this listing was fairly new, right? It was only active for like 90 days, so 3 months. And the fact that I entered and there's only like few FB sellers and this new listing, it was very risky to do in the first place. So once again, to look out for is for how long the listing's been active for, because sometimes BuyBotPro is not going to pick it up. So you can take an extra step and just basically check how long the listing been active for. But anyways, this really depends on the brands. If you know the brand, and like Lego or Playmobil, you know that you're allowed to, or entitled to sell that product, and you never received IP complaints, go ahead, you know. However, further research you can do, for example, I don't know, you take a brand, I don't know, North Face or whatever, and you're really not sure if you can sell the product, research different products of the brand on Amazon. See if there is any different listings of different products, and see if there is any FB sellers at all, right? And if you see there is FB sellers, you know, selling the product on Amazon, you kind of get a feeling that it's okay to sell the product. That's an extra step you can take on top of that to prevent you from receiving IP complaints. So extra step you can take is to if you see the listing and you can see that there is few FBA sellers selling it, but you're still not sure if you can sell this product, right? What you can do is just go and check the reviews of FBA sellers, right? Because what it does indicates their experience in the way as well. So if it's only 22 reviews, like below 50, you know, it's still fairly new seller, maybe been selling for a year over it. But if you see hundreds, thousands of reviews, you can kind of rely on those sellers as well because they've been doing this for a while. But even though, you know, you still have to be very, very careful. If it's only few of FBA sellers and they have high reviews, they might have rights or agreements with manufacturers to sell the products, right? So still have to be very careful, you know. You can read up some groups, you know, as well. Ask people if you are allowed to sell these products, you know, just take the extra steps, you know, do some more research if you're really not sure, because if you do make a mistake and receive one IP complaint on the early stage when I did, my account went straight into the yellow amber account health. And I don't know, if I would have received another one or another couple, my account could have been suspended as well. So you have to be very, very careful. And it stays for 180 days, which is a long period of time, you know. So it's always best just to stay safe, you know, and be careful and do the extra steps, you know, rather than having to deal and go through this extra stress, you know. So hopefully you find this video useful, you know. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and drop me a comment. Let me know if you recently received any IP complaints, what brands you received this IP complaints, and if you find this video useful as well. Thank you so much. You take care. Bye-bye.